Out of our D.C. bureau is Bill Gertz. He's the senior editor at the Washington Free Beacon. His Twitter handle is @BillGertz, and I want him to talk about the Benghazi hearings that are currently ongoing. And in fact, Bill, while you and I are talking, we're monitoring those hearings. They're important hearings, started at noon today, investigating the situation and the assassinations in Benghazi. Who knew what? Why was security not provided, and how it went down. We may dip in and out of those hearings if some important information comes out. But I wanted to ask you, you followed this story right from the beginning. What's going on?
Well, clearly, I think the unraveling of the Obama administration's initial story is the story behind the story. What was the motivation behind saying that this assault involving dozens of attackers was somehow a spontaneous demonstration? And why weren't the requests for greater security heeded?
Well, what do you think is, is it a political reason that they weren't heeded?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. You know, I've covered Washington for a long time. You know, all administrations lie, but this administration lies better than most. And it was clear to me that there was a political motivation. I did a piece for the Free Beacon just recently that talked about intelligence officials who said that intelligence on the al-Qaeda, the growing al-Qaeda threat in both Egypt and Libya, was suppressed because it didn't fit with the Obama administration narrative that al-Qaeda was on the decline. That's really what's behind this.
Well, Bill, answer the following question for me. If there were all of these requests from various parts of the embassy, it was the security people, the ambassador himself said that he was targeted by al-Qaeda. There had been previous attacks on the embassy, previous attacks on the British ambassador. Who would have made the decision in Washington not to honor that request for additional security?
Well, my guess would be it's the 7th floor of the State Department, or beyond that at the NSC staff level. And my understanding of the national security crisis management system currently in place under the Obama administration is that there's a heavy reliance on one or two people at the White House, National Security Advisor Tom Donilon, Valerie Jarrett, the advisor to the president, and it's very much coordinated with the Chicago re-election campaign. So there probably was some coordination there. Then the question is, what was happening on the 7th floor of the State Department, where Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is in charge, and she has a number of aides who would be advising her on what to do and what to say.
But then, Bill, you've been in Washington for a long time, so you've got to assume, like you said, that the decisions were made at the highest level. What happens next? There's the House committee hearings, as we've just mentioned, that are ongoing today. They've called some whistleblowers. They're hearing testimony from some career bureaucrats, civil servants, and some professional security people. But what's the next step in all this? Does it just go away?
No. I mean, clearly the first step is to figure out what happened, and I think we're getting some of that with the hearing today, where they talked about how the attack unfolded, what kind of security was in place. There were only a handful of officers, security people nearby. The quick reaction force was unable to deter this large attack. So once you find out what happened, then the next question is well, how did a story come out at the senior levels of the administration that this was a spontaneous demonstration against an online video? And those are the real important